If you're a big fan of the Night Edition Ram and would like to add some of that same dark aggressive styling to your 2019 and newer Bighorn or Tradesman, well then may I suggest the OE Night Edition style headlights that we have here today. Now these lights will be sold in pairs for around that high $500 price point and will deliver that same styling found on the OE Night Edition Rams. So I'm sure most of you watching this video are probably already aware, but if not, the Night Edition Ram is a very popular special edition trim package that adds things like a unique grille, unique wheels, unique badging, and of course, those blacked out headlights that are all inspired by that stealthy or blacked out look a lot of us truck owners really dig and something that really doesn't seem to ever go out of style. And these headlights are going to deliver that same dark and aggressive styling that we just mentioned, but without being too crazy or over the top. And that's one thing in particular I do really enjoy about these particular options. Listen, me personally, sure, I'm a big fan of aftermarket lighting, but sometimes things can almost be a little too aftermarket, if you know what I mean. But that's not going to be the case here. Instead, these lights, the Night Edition options, are going to adhere to that factory recipe or that factory inspired look. I feel like you're just going to get the right amount of that blacked out look without being something, again, that's going to be too wild or over the top. Again, guys, friendly reminder here that these headlights will only appeal to the halogen-equipped trucks such as the Ram Bighorn or the Ram Tradesman model. So just keep that in mind because these will not be compatible with the factory LED trucks. Now, your housings are going to consist of that durable ABS plastic construction, of course, in that matte black color, topped off with a crystal clear polycarbonate lens, and are hermetically sealed to prevent any moisture or condensation from getting inside. Now, your main reflector area here will be for the low beams, while the highs will be handled down here, and of course, the turn signals will be in the top corner. Finally, guys, they have introduced the amber reflector on the sides, and that's going to help keep these lights both DOT and SAE legal, basically making them legal in all 50 states. Now, as far as your bulbs are concerned, well, you'll be happy to know that these do include brand new bulbs throughout, so there's no need to transfer anything over or no need to buy anything extra. Now your price point is gonna hover, I would say, high $500, right around $600 here, which I'll admit is certainly gonna be on the higher end of the price spectrum for a non-LED factory styled light. Now with that being said, if you did wanna find something with maybe a few more bells and whistles, maybe some LED running lights, well, you only have to spend a few bucks more to get something in that genre. But needless to say, guys, this is a friendly reminder, check out the rest of our selection here at AmericanTrucks.com before pulling the trigger. Now, because these lights are built to factory specifications using OEM quality materials, the install is going to be a direct swap plug and play job. No wiring, no modification needed whatsoever. However, since there is a little bit of work involved to remove the stock lights and get the new lights installed, site is going to bump things up to a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. I would say taking you at least an hour to complete from start to finish. But now we're going to throw things out to the shop. Let's check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, 8 and 10 millimeter sockets, and a 10 millimeter ratcheting S-wrench. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Ram. First, we're going to watch a quick little uninstall video for removing your stock headlights, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for this install, you're gonna need to pop your hood, remove your upper rad cover, the grille, and some of the surrounding trim. It's a pretty simple process. I'm gonna walk you through the whole thing. So let's get started. So we're gonna start by removing our upper rad cover. There's a bunch of plastic clips that need to be removed. So I'm gonna use my plastic clip removal tool and pop the heads of them open. And then once I get those all removed, I can pull the panel off. And we're gonna pull this panel right off. The next piece we need to remove is the headlight trim and grille trim here on the top of the vehicle. It's a combination of a pop clip and 10 millimeter screws. So I'm gonna use my clip tool once again and a 10 mil socket to pull all of these out, and then I can just remove this piece from the vehicle. Next, I'm gonna use my 8mm socket to remove some of the screws here on the inner wheel well and pull the liner back to expose a little bit more hardware that's hiding behind the liner so I can get this panel off that surrounds the headlight. So now that I have the liner pulled back, I've exposed this 10mm bolt here inside the wheel well liner, and I'm going to use my 10mm on a ratchet and just pull that out. Now I'll just repeat this process on the other side. Next, I'm going to need to remove my grill. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of either side of the grill, and there are 4 across the top. I'll just use my 10mm socket on my small impact gun, remove all of those screws, and pull the grill off. So now that I have my grill removed, I can go ahead and start unbolting and unhooking my headlights. I have a clip here at the top as well as a 10mm bolt, and then I have a 10mm bolt here on the side from the fender, and I'll just use my 10mm socket and my clip tool and pull those out, and then I can unhook my headlights. It's a little hard to see, but I'm just going to unplug my headlight connectors from the back. Just push down on the tabs to release them, and then you can pull the headlight out.
So now we're ready to install our new headlight, so we can plug in our 2 connectors, slide it into place, and get our bolts started. So now once we have our headlight in place, we can start with our top bolt and thread that back into place. And then we can thread in our bolt into the side here. And then we'll tighten that down with our 10mm socket. And then we can come back up top and tighten down that bolt. And then we'll repeat that same process on the other side. Next, we can slide our grill back into place. Next, we can reinstall our 3 bolts at the bottom of the grill. The 2 longer ones are going to go on the inside holes, and the shorter one's going to go on the outside. Once we have our bolts threaded in, we can take our 10mm socket to tighten these down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall our bumper trim piece. Next, we can come back up top and reinstall the 4 bolts that hold in the top of our grille. And then we can take our 10mm socket to tighten these all down. Next, we can reinstall our upper trim. And now we can reinstall all of the bolts that hold that in. And then we can tighten down that first half with a 10mm socket. And then we'll do that same thing for the other half. And then we'll tighten all of those down with that same 10mm socket. Next, we can reinstall our radiator cover. And then we can reinstall all of our push clips that hold this in. Now we can reinstall all of our push clips. And now we can do that same thing on this side. Next, we can reinstall that bolt that sits right here. Now it's going to be hard to see. We'll get it through our hole. Start threading that into place. You can thread that in most of the way by hand. And now I'm going to be taking this angled ratcheting wrench to tighten that the rest of the way down. And then we can replace our fender liner. And reinstall our 3 bolts. Next, we can grab our 8mm socket to tighten these all down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the OE Night Edition headlights with black housing and clear lens for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500 Bighorn and Tradesman. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.